Yo, it's been an amazing day so far. It's pretty awesome when you're serving the Lord, serving others. How, at least for me, I've got a motor that just does not quit, um, and it feels good. Done my 10,000 steps today. Had a service earlier this morning. Pastor Wayne Earl came and brought his guitar, preached an amazing message, and then went to my second church, my home church, Church of the Open Door, and another amazing service there, amazing worship, um, um, simplified worship, and the subject for the last 2 weeks at Church of the Open Door has been out of Hebrews, and today was chapter 3, and the warnings about drifting, and who and what, or what and who are you anchored to? Got to be anchored to Jesus, right? Tethered to him. And if you're not, you can drift. And you start drifting, and there's warning signs when you start drifting. And then you could end up being shipwrecked, which is the title of this morning's service, being shipwrecked and lying at the bottom of whatever ocean you've been floating on, right? So I got over here. Actually, I got back to the mission, ate lunch, and had a couple of conversations with a couple of people. And then, hold on, I got to get my water. Way over here, it's not tethered to me. Anyways, um, the song came to mind called Anchor, and it's by a group that I fell in love with way back in 2000, I think 15 or 16, a group called Beautiful Eulogy. And they're hip hop artists out of Oregon. They're no longer together. One of the guys his name is Brian Braille is his hip hop name. Brian, forget his last name. He's a pastor now up in Oregon, and they're one of my favorite artists. Beautiful Eulogy is one of my favorite artists, and Anchor is a pretty amazing song. And so I sent that song and another song by Jonathan Ogden, and then there's a third that I kind of forgot about by a guy named Josh Garrell. It's called Anchor. And I wanted to read these lyrics from Beautiful Eulogy, and it's really good. It says, Anchor of my soul, you sustain when I'm in the storm. You remain good to me. Anchor of my soul, you sustain when I'm in the storm. You remain good to me. When it is a quarter past midnight and the gray skies fade to black, the waves splash and set me off track, so my vessel might crash or collapse when I'm attacked, and start wrestling in my head with these bad memories from my past. I'm aware of my guilt, overwhelmed, and the smell of my blood has the sharks that surround me cast under a spell. They waited for me to fall, but when I fell, the water got still, and the blood that was spilled protects me. It's the same blood that cleansed me, my only defense against my nemesis. Now I can rest knowing that nothing can come against me unless the Father gives consent. Evil intentions will not disturb God's purposes or interfere. So who shall I fear? But my anchor is secure. Who shall I fear if my anchor is secure? Learning to consider it pure joy when I'm facing tribulations, praising God instead of complaining or getting overtaken with bitterness. Looking at the pages of the book of James and seeing the ways that God works through the trials to make us more. mature in our faith. It reminds me how desperate I am in the desert land, thirsty your mercy and plan while you give me the strength to stand. You're my greatest pleasure. Yeah, no matter the weather I face, Lord, you never forsake. My fragile life is safe under your sovereign grace. That's just the first verse. That song is so thick with theology, and that's what I loved about Beautiful Eulogy. Um, Brian Braille still has he put out a new album. Um, oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's pretty amazing. Talking about construction and building firm foundations and everything, and community coming together and um, building for Jesus, building community for Jesus, and our firm foundation being on Christ. And and one of the songs in this album, their self-titled album, Eulogy, um, a snippet of a sermon, I forget who about, but it talks about a kite being tethered with the string to our hand. And the only way that kite stays in flight up in the air is when it's tethered to our hand. If the line snaps and breaks, that's what I love about Richmond. Loud, loud engines out on McDonald Avenue. But anyways, um, so when the string breaks, the kite just falls or it'll get stuck up in a tree or whatever, crashing. It's just a heap of wood and the fabric that holds it together. So it's a reference to us being tethered to the Holy Spirit. And we can soar when we're tethered to the Holy Spirit and we're tethered to Jesus Christ, right? And so when we're tethered, we can, be the people, the followers of Jesus that, he wants us to be. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Been dwelling on that, listening to that music while setting up the chairs and the tables for a class tomorrow. I do that every Sunday. It's part of what I love to do here at the mission. It's part of the ministry that I'm involved with. Um, I just love doing it. And when I come over here, no matter how warm of a day or how long of a day, how early I woke up, like this morning, I think I woke up at 4 and was wide awake and got my coffee about quarter till 4. Sat and drank that, did my devotions, and came over here for a church service about 10 to 7. And then I thought I was going to see Jesus because I got scared half to death. I was in here thinking I was going to be here by myself for at least until 7:30 or 8. And knowing that Pastor Earl was going to be preaching today, I had things set up for him. And then I come out of the bathroom, open the door, and he's right there in the hallway, like in my face, about ready to make a left turn into the other bathroom. And I jumped out of my skin. And I thought for sure my whole life flashed before my eyes. And I thought I was going to go see Jesus before Jesus was even preached this morning. But, anyways, yeah. But, yeah, who are you anchored to, tethered to? Um, is Jesus the anchor of your soul? Um, or are you adrift? If you're adrift, he's calling you back to him. That was part of the purpose of this morning's message from Wayne Earl, right? It's fine and dandy when we come to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ, right? Come and that's how he comes, meets us right where we're at. But once we're saved and we're following him and we drift, it's all about the returning to him. And he's always waiting with open arms when we do return to him. And a lot of times we got to return to him quite often because, you know, um, I know what it's like because my mind can be drifting all the time. It's always moving at 100 miles an hour. I've said that many, many times. It's always moving. the OD, the ADHD, and just thinking of this and 10 steps ahead and something later on this afternoon and what I got to do here and there and thinking about tomorrow. And when that starts to happen, I take a deep breath and I want to be present in this moment right here, right now. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm really have learned that in the last year or so, um, especially when I come to church in the morning. I prepare myself, I prepare my heart and my mind, and I'm present right here. I don't think about something later on the day. I don't think about something, setting up or doing this and scheduling out my day ahead of time. Just I am present in this moment because it's important because there are souls that are at risk, right? So I got to be present in each moment. You never know when someone just needs a handshake or a hug in the morning, or a high five, some encouragement before they come to church. And being present at church with my family, with my church family, being present in the moment there in that building. We are the church, but being in our church building, being in present in the moment. So I'm not thinking about things. Um, there are things I do while I'm here in the morning after church here, counting the offering, um, securing that, and then doing a count. Um, and so there's two reports I got. Well, not really reports, but I send things to people. I send numbers and pictures of the morning service um, to others after church. And so I used to do that while I was at church, my second church service, and try to scramble and do that right in the middle of worship. And no, can't be going from this and not complete the task before I walk out the building, get in the van, and then try to hurry up and get stuff going on, send emails and texts while I'm at church trying to finish up the business. So I make sure that before I walk out the door across the street, before I get in the van to go to church, all that's taken care of. So when I get to church, I'm present. So I'm there where I need to be, focused on the message and then focused on my family that's there. So um, I just love how, especially in the last year and a half here, being really focused on just with others' guidance. Pastor Greer, who's our leader here on Sunday mornings and throughout the week, getting with her guidance and leadership, helping steer me, right? Getting my rudder faced in the right direction. So I'm, focused and present where I need to be every day. And yep, it's a beautiful thing when you're serving God. And I'm keep on shaking the camera because I'm hitting this little stand right here. So I'm going to try to stop doing that. Got to always be moving here and there. Let's see what time it is. Bing, bing. Oh, it's 3:10. I open up for the community about 3:30 every Sunday afternoon, and then let them in, relax, play music, and then start the service at about 4:30. It's usually a quick devotional video, and then close down, and then go about my evening. And yeah, Sundays are like that. It's jam packed, and the thing I keep on telling myself, um, like yesterday was a service day. Started at got up early in the morning and had to have all the students in the West Wing across the street ready to board a bus by 9 o'clock and be on the road. The beautiful thing is, for the first time since I've been doing these pop-ups and everything, it's been probably 4, 8, maybe 9 of them. Done a bunch here, but we've been to other cities where we've had to be on a bus. Yesterday was the first time we were ahead of schedule. We were literally pulling off at about 8:45. I was amazed with that. I was just like, wow, that was smooth, no hiccups. Everybody was down in the West Wing, which is the room across the street. Everyone was down where they needed to be on time. And that has not happened yet. No, a lot of times, sometimes they're having to drag people downstairs. Or, anyways, not going there. That's the past. So yeah, it was a pretty amazing time. And then leaving, we were scheduled to leave at 4 o'clock. We were on the bus and pulling away by 10 till 4. I had a schedule, and that hasn't happened yet either. So it was awesome. It was awesome being, you know, an event that I didn't really want to go to. I was just like, I need a full day off Saturday. And then Thursday, I found out, oh, yeah, you're part of the team. Okay. And the beautiful thing when I got there was awesome. We get there plenty early, 9:20. We start setting up, and then it's almost 3 hours until it starts. Um, Probably a half, maybe 45 minutes into it, an hour into it. Um, there's a girl there that was standing in the back on this curb, and she looked at me and waved and said hi. And I looked at her and I was like, hi. And then walked around for a little bit more. And then I came back and she stopped me and she said, hey, I know you from somewhere. And I went, okay. And I'm thinking, all right, this is the third pop up in a row. There was a pop up here. And then a previous one, a smaller pop up that was here. No, I guess it was a food giveaway, I think. I'm not positive. I don't remember. But the third event in a row that someone recognized me. Now, this individual, I said, let me think. And my first response, again, as it was the other two times, I was thinking, where can somebody recognize me from way out in Vallejo? And I'm trying to think, because I was living in Vallejo for like 4 years, and I was like, no, I can't be from that because I don't remember you from Vallejo. It's like, you kind of do look familiar. How about the Kings Club in Richmond? And she said, yep, that's the spot. Now, the Kings Club was an after school program for elementary age kids all the way up through high school. Was an after school program here in the city of Richmond. I think one of only two after school programs and in the entire city of Richmond. And this girl, Maya, um, and her sister was a twin. Her twin sister used to go to that program. And it was awesome. I was just like, wow, very cool. She's like, yeah, I remember you. You were, people liked me back then. I was awesome. Well, I'm still kind of awesome, but anyways, yeah. Okay. And then she said she loved going there. She said because of the King Club, she learned how to swim. Because of the Kings Club after school program, she was interested in sports. So in high school, she ended up playing softball and played tennis for her high school. And since then, some 12 years later, she's living in Vallejo now, I guess, with her boyfriend. And she says there's no programs like that in the city of Vallejo. Um, so I was like, connect with the pastor at the church. We were at this church in Vallejo yesterday. I got her in contact with Marshall, who was the director of the Kings Club back then. She is now the director of Today's Youth Matters, TYM, here in the city of Richmond. And it is a youth program, and it's an amazing program. Very amazing. So yeah, connected. And I gave her a business card from Marshall that I happened to have in my wallet. So she was pretty excited. So it's one of those like not chance encounters. There's never chance encounters, right? God always lines things up. But it's the third student from that program I've run into here at the mission or being with the mission. One in Vallejo and two here. Actually, I think there was a fourth too. There was a fourth, yeah, because there was a giveaway that we were doing. We are giving away Bed Bath and Beyond stuff like furniture, pillows, other things from Amazon. A bunch of like really good household stuff. And there was a student that was here with, I guess, his grandfather or someone who was doing a ministry, picking stuff up for that ministry, was here that recognized me from the Kings Club. And he's now working with Marshall at TYM. He's one of the life coaches. And then just a few months before that, or maybe a month before that, here at the block party we had earlier this year, another student recognized me from Kings Club. And then I literally brought them down to Marshall, I think. Or did she? Either way, but yeah, pretty incredible to like be recognized and remembered for having an impact on somebody's life. I That's cool. I hope I'm continuing to have impact on people's lives. So that's a thing. And I can only do that if I stay anchored to Jesus, if I'm tethered to him, being part of the vine, right? Part of the vine, being connected to him. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm hearing voices. I think it was just somebody walking by. But anyways, um, that's all I have. That's all I have for this afternoon. And I just had to get that off my chest. 'Cause today was a good day. It still is good. It's going to continue to be a good day because always being in God's presence, it's always a good time. So with that, I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I shook the camera a little bit more. But anyways, enjoy the rest of your evening, and hope this video serves you well. I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful day and evening. Bye-bye.